Welcome back. Welcome back. It's your host, Delano, on the FanWire podcast. We are about to give a good deep dive into one of the most explosive guards in college basketball over the last few seasons. This player is a walking bucket herself. Believe that. So, who are we breaking down? We're talking about Ta'Niya Latson. So we're going to give you the rundown of her college career, how it began, the domination she did, the evolution, her strengths, the development, will we project her to will we project her career to be, and a lot more. And most importantly, that she fit with the Washington Mystics. Let's get to it. Let's go. All right. So, from a snapshot, Ta'Niya is a 5'8" guard, and I can honestly say she's a combo guard at this point. She was definitely a scoring, shooting guard, through and through when she was at Florida. But now being in South Carolina, she's added more to her bag. So let's talk through it. So her playing style is an explosive scoring combo guard, right? What's her claim to fame? Elite scoring creation and being able to put pressure going downhill. Yeah. So the keys to her game: speed, a burst, making separation, and putting pressure on the rim virtually every possession. Now, one more key: can she defend? And she definitely defends. No questions asked. Now, let's talk about her beginning career or college career at Florida State. This is the rise. And the freshman year, she made an immediate impact. Latson didn't ease into college basketball at all. She jumped on the scene and made a burst on the scene. She's fearless when attacking. Her handle is advanced. She has the ability to separate, high volume scoring, and that's from day number one, right? She stood out immediately, and it just wasn't scoring, right? She just wasn't a ball hog, right? She was efficient what she did. She was a natural bucket getter. She has those instincts. She carried Florida State, right? And she never looked back, right? She never looked overwhelmed. And this is as a freshman, right? She was comfortable playing against set defenses. And that's rare, especially, again, for a freshman. So she's been doing this from the beginning. All right, so let's talk about her sophomore year. This is when she started to become elite, right? So in the ACC, the competition is not as stiff as the Big Ten or the SEC. However, there is still great bump and there's great competition in the ACC, right? So her score volume increased. She developed more playmaking abilities. She showed flashes. It was starting to come, right? She also started to improve her defense. Right? She's making good reads. But now, let's talk about what was the key her evolution started when she started to refine her efficiency. So she started to get better. Right? So she's starting to get better. Right? And that's definitely coming into the junior year. Right? But some of the knocks was her shot selection, her 3-point consistency, and decision making under pressure. Right? So she still have room, a lot of room to grow. Right? But she had all the tools to become elite. So now let's talk about her junior season, last season. Right? This is when she started to become a household name in women's basketball. She was one of the nation's leading scorers. She was the engine of the offense. And she, when it comes to the scouting report, she was the scouting report. So all of the defense attention was on her. And what did she do? She kept scoring. She didn't leave anything on the table. She was able to see traps, see doubles. Again, she saw that the entire scouting report was geared towards her. And what did she do? She made adjustments. She had better pacing, a strong finisher through contact. She improved her reads. What else can you ask for in a prospect? Right? And with her ability to score, she led the league, she led the nation in scoring. And then she still decided to transfer to South Carolina. Because when you play with Don, you play and you become WNBA ready. Right? So let's talk about what's going on right now. All right. So she went from being a high usage offensive engine of a team, right, to being a feature scorer in a loaded system. So what does that mean? That's preparing her for her time in the WNBA. Will she be the offensive engine from the very beginning when she got into the WNBA? I don't think so. Does she have the capability? Definitely. But it's all about when is it your time and are you ready during that time, right? So by going to South Carolina, this prepares her for all of these different scenarios because she knows how to score. She knows how to do what she does, right? Easily. But when it comes to being able to play in a WNBA system, for some people, for some players, that takes a lot of humbling. It does, because you're not the featured person anymore. So this was giving her the ability to get used to that, right? And that matters because, again, she's not going to get 25 shots a night in the WNBA. It's not going to happen. At least not right now. So her seeing evolution wasn't about her play. It was about maturing into a WNBA-minded player. So that included having a lower usage rate while being more efficient, having better shot discipline and selection, and being able to move off the ball and still be protected. So off the ball movement. So in this season, in 2025 to 26, Ta'Niya improved her efficiency, her defensive management, and her playmaking discipline. Yeah. So what does that all mean? Growth. It means that she evolved. She's becoming better. she's able to play in the system, right? So from day one, her scoring was elite. Over time, her efficiency improved. And each season, she expanded her playmaking ability. And she became more efficient on the defensive end and expanded her role versatility. That's going to be important coming into the WNBA because you don't know where you're going to be drafted. You could be drafted to a team that has a lot of veterans. You have to wait your turn. Or you could go to an expansion team and you could be a star, right? But you just don't know. So by expanding your role versatility, that gives you ability to fit in any system, in any situation. Yeah. Yeah. I expect Latson to be she's by far gonna be a first round draft pick, but I think she's gonna sneak up the board, especially as the SEC tournament goes forward and March Madness begins. I really think that her draft stock is gonna go up. Right? Now, let's talk about some of her signature strengths. Ta'Niya is elite scorer, is elite at shot creation. So she can make something out of nothing. She can get a bucket whenever she needs to or want to. She has a quick first step. Her handle is tight, and she can create separation while playing isolation basketball. That sounds like the microwave that sounds like the DNA of a microwave type of player. You can plug and play. Let's go. Now, let's talk about her scoring. She is a 3-level scorer. So that means she can put pressure on the rim. Her mid-range pull-ups are good, or actually super solid. And she's currently developing her 3-point game. So with time, she's going to become a very good 3-point shooter. Then what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Now, in transition, she's dangerous. She can get out in space and cause havoc. Right? And again, like we said earlier, she is not scared of contact. She will take it to the rim and do her thing, even at 5'8". Okay? So she attacks defense with controlled, reckless abandonment. Right? It's a difference when you attack and you're out of control. Right? But it's even more of a difference when you're under control and you can attack the defense, put that pressure on the defense. Those are qualities that will keep you in the WNBA for a long time. For real. Now, let's talk about our scoring IQ. She is better at reading defenses and traps when they're coming. So she's improved in her decision making, especially being at South Carolina. And look for that to be something that goes forward in her career, right? Because that's one thing about Dawn Staley. Her point guards and her combo guards, they know how to handle defensive pressure. They know how to see what's coming and how to read and react. Now, we're going to keep it real. We didn't talk about a lot of positives, a lot of the pros of her game. Now, let's talk about some of the cons, right? Now, over her career and her development, now, her size can be an issue, right? Especially versus pro-level defense. The defensive physicality can become an issue. and the lack of deep 3-point volume and consistency hitting that shot could become an issue, right? But with development, that can be fixed. Those are things that can be overcome. But it might limit the amount of minutes that she can get early on, depending on the situation that she's drafted into. Okay. Now, where do we see Ta'Niya when she comes into the league? What role? I would say this: from the floor, and that's the lowest point, we're looking at a spark plug rotational guard, right? So pretty much instant offense off of the bench with limited defensive matchups, right? So pretty much the little microwave, right? Now the median or the middle, I would say key rotational player, maybe key 6-woman guard, right? Now, what does that mean? That means being a reliable creator, secondary ball handler, and efficient 3-point shooter with improvement. Got to improve. Now, on the high end, we're looking at an impact starter here, right? We're looking at a pivotal piece, a core member of somebody's WNBA backcourt. A 3-level threat. So that means taking to the rim, mid-range jump shots, and 3-point development, right? With all that being said, that could be those can be all-star potential type of production, right? But we'll see. But definitely the ability to stay in the league. And that also includes if her defense stabilizes. She has to become, she's a great defender on the college level, but she has to turn it up on the WNBA level. Now, again, the things that can make her move up and makes her go to the next level, again, consistent 3-point shooting, maximizing and perfecting her pick and roll reads, and being defensively disciplined. Because she can rip somebody, she can get a steal on somebody, but we don't want that to turn into, early fouls, all that type of thing, right? But she can be a game changer. In my mind, I see a few comparisons here, right? And we're talking about, at this point, her comps or her comparisons to other WNBA players, right? I'm going to say this. I'm going to say Tiffany Hayes, and when I say Tiffany Hayes, I'm also saying not height-wise, because it's like, it's a little height difference there. Because Ta'Niya Latson is 5'8", Tiffany Hayes is 5'10", right? Now, I'll say this. Latson is a shifty scorer, while Hayes is more, she tries to get a little bit more physical, right, with her scoring. But both are downhill attackers, transition threats, and are aggressive when it comes to offense mentalities. Now, Hayes definitely built a career on playing tough defense, and that could be the separate. But if Latson improves her defense to be like that, have that defensive edge, that dog, let that come out. It could be very similar. Very similar. Now, I will also say this. On the high end of her comps, I want to say this. I want to compare her to a WNBA player that really showed herself something else. And let's get that over here. I want to compare her also to Kelsey Mitchell. And when it comes to Kelsey Mitchell, you know, some people might be like, that might be a reach. But let's talk about it. Let's talk through it. So Kelsey Mitchell, the dynamic guard from the Indiana Fever, is also a comp on the high end. And why I say that is they're both elite scoring, have both elite scoring mentalities. They have quick releases on their shot creation. They can create a shot out of nothing and consistently put pressure on the defense. Now, they're naturally both bucket getters. It's in their DNA. 3-level scoring potential. If you ever watch Kelsey Mitchell do it, Kelsey Mitchell do it, 3 levels, easy work. Can score in bunches. Now I can do that. She can be that. Now, let's talk about what the differences are. Mitchell entered the league more as a polished shooter, but with time and reps, there can be some similarities there. But the one thing that they both do, as again, they both rely on putting pressure on the defense. Kelsey Mitchell is definitely known for getting a bucket, and she can definitely get a bucket however the defense plays her, right? So just remember that. There's a lot of upside here, and they're both small guards. So even though she might not be the tallest guard, but if you got the heart and the edge and the dog and the ability, you could be a problem. Ta'Niya Latson definitely has the ability to be a problem in the WNBA. So now, let's do this. Let's talk about how Ta'Niya fits into the Washington Mystics plan, right? So again, the pros of drafting Ta'Niya Latson is her scoring punch, and she can immediately give the Mystics a boost whenever the offense stalls, and that's whether she's in the starting lineup or coming off of the bench. She can again be that microwave. She can score in many different ways. So she solves that because she can create her own shot, right? She puts pressure on the rim, and if a defensive player is closing out on her, she can attack them in many different ways and be successful at getting that bucket. Now, that translates. If you hear me right, that translates into what she can do. Now, let's talk about her athleticism and how that impacts the Mystics. One thing about the Mystics offense is it can be a little methodical at times. But with Ta'Niya coming into the team, she adds that burst, adds transition pressure, and can definitely change the tempo of things. And especially in a scenario where it's a collapse and kick type of situation, she can take advantage of it. Now, as a secondary playmaker, that can be another plus if she's brought onto the team, because she's not just a bucket. She is growing and showing the ability to be able to operate as a definite combo guard. And it helps with lineup flexibility. I'm always a person I like positional flexibility and lineup flexibility, especially in positionless basketball. She can do many different things, whether if another guard or another forward that can bring the ball up gets the ball, she can take advantage of that and leak out and get easy buckets. Or if she gets the rebound, or if she's in a position to take the ball up the court, she can take advantage of that and set the offense up. Now, let's do this. Let's talk about her long-term starter and the upside to that. Now, if she improves her shooting, make sure it's stabilized, and she's efficient with her shooting, and that defense improves, we're not just talking about a rotational player. She could become a core player in the backcourt. She has that potential. Now, again, there are risks with the selection. When we say concerns, some people might say, hey, the concern is higher or lower. It just depends on your personal preference. Her size versus other WNBA guards can be a concern. But there are other success cases of smaller guards having great success in the WNBA. So it's just a matter of how she handles those matchups and how she handles or the defensive schemes, I would say, right? Now, could bigger wings and bigger guards target her? It can definitely happen. But on the other end, she can get to them too. So she can be a matchup nightmare, or that could be flipped on her. So, if a defense sags on her on the defensive end, that's where the 3-point consistency comes in. Because if it's not consistent, defense is not going to guard her. And that's going to cause driving lanes to shrink. So, but those are all different things to her development. And those are keys to her development. Now, she also has to make sure that when she makes her decisions and her moves, that she knows that WNBA rotations are faster and they read a whole lot quicker. So windows and opportunities to do different things are different than college. So just to make sure her turnovers are not an issue, she just got to be aware that those windows will tighten up quickly. We also, we're talking about the role, right? Her role can be defined early, or it might not. And when I say that, she's a combo guard at this point. Is she a scoring guard? Is she a combo one? Is she the microwave off the bench? I think in time that will be clarified. Now, before I give you my final verdict, I want to actually give you another comparison. And I really believe that this comparison is a good insight on what Ta'Niya Latson can be. Now, again, she's at South Carolina with Dawn Staley. Dawn Staley knows how to produce WNBA-ready players. And that includes other players like Tahina Pow Tahina Pow came out last year, and you know she stepped into a role with Atlanta and hasn't looked back. So they're similar in size. They're both scorers. They're both still they're playing defense. One is just more of an attacker on the offensive end. The other is a shooter, right? But when it comes to being able to be not necessarily the tallest player, and when it comes to being able to manage WNBA level competition and to be able to excel, yeah, their products are Don Staley. So you can pretty much check that off in the book, right? So now, let's see what we're going to do. We're going to look at some video here because we definitely want to show what Ta'Niya is capable of doing. Because, of course, your visual will give you your best outlook and it helps you understand what's going on, right? So, again, real quick, while I'm getting the videos together, take a second, like the video. It's important that you like the video. There are a lot of Washington Mystic fans out here that the algorithm doesn't necessarily see. So by you liking the video helps us get more of this information out to other Washington Mystic fans, right? Help me, help you, right? And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. All right. Now, let's do this. Let's get to the videos. All right. Easy work, plucking people left and right. And she doesn't miss layups. Okay. Defensive collapse, able to get the three. Easy. She's not a volume three-point shooter, but she's definitely effective. You see her leaking out? Layup. Easy work. Creating her own shot. Taking it to the rack. Not scared of contact. And look at that. Went through the player and didn't miss the layup. She's a microwave scorer. Look at her. Gone. Easy. In transition, she's a problem. And she has the ability to make the dish as well. She can make the right read, make the entry passes. Yeah. 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 Ta'Niya Latson is like that. And I also want to give a shout out to Women's Hoops Network for the videos. Okay. Okay. As you can see, she has a knee brace on. So she did have a knee injury this season, but it doesn't look like it's hindering her at all. So as long as her medicals check out, it shouldn't be a problem with getting her in the draft. Cutting to the basket, easy work. Easy work. Yeah. Any team can use a player that with these abilities. She's not a perfect prospect, but she definitely is a good one. And is unselfish. And this is against Tennessee, the number 19 ranked team in the league. Yeah. I think that Ta'Niya is going to be a good fit. She could be a good fit for the Washington Mystics because she definitely checks boxes regarding what we could use on our team. So Ta'Niya Latson is an electric young scorer, national level offensive star. She took her senior year to refine her game to make it more, to add to her marketability because she's already an elite scorer. So she leaves college as one of the most explosive guards of her era. She can use defense to create opportunities for herself or other players. And, you know, with time, well, actually, she chose this year to work on her efficiency and her discipline. But over time, all of those things can increase, right? Because with time, she's definitely going to develop a three-point shot. I'm not even worried about it. Not worried about it whatsoever. So for the Mystics, she can check the box for a player that can instantly score and provide a spark. She's going to be an athletic upgrade and could potentially be a long-term answer in the backcourt. But again, development, there's definitely room for development. And that's going to be with her defense, her consistency with three-point shooting, and of course, decision making at the WNBA level. And if she can handle that, that would determine if she'll be a rotational weapon or a future all-star. So I got some questions for everybody that's tuned in. Is Ta'Niya Latson the perfect draft target for the Mystics? Do you think she'll be available at 6 or 11? I don't see her being a target at number 4. But we do have 3 first round draft picks. Yeah. She is a definite she definitely can check box. Now let me ask you this. Do you believe that Ta'Niya is a high side, upsided gamble? Could she be a future star in Washington? Let us know. Drop your comments. Let's talk through it. So y'all already know the deal. Again, like the video. Subscribe. Because we're dropping something every day. Now, again, this is your host, Delano, your trusted voice for Washington Mystic content. You know, we break it down here. We give it to you real. No chaser. It ain't watered down. Yeah. Well, we'll be right back at with you tomorrow. We got something else to give you. We out of here. So long. Have a good day.